The galaxy was quiet, but not peaceful. The Empire ruled over hundreds of planets. No one dared to fight them. Every species they met either surrendered or was destroyed. Their most powerful soldiers were called the Invincibles. These warriors had never lost a battle. When the Empire discovered Earth, they didn't see it as a threat. It was just another small blue planet with a new species, humans. But there was one problem. Humans refused to obey. They didn't bow. They didn't accept the Empire's flag. They simply said, no. That answer made the Empire angry. In a meeting held inside the Empire's War Council, High Commander shouted across the room, send a warning. Show them who rules the stars. Finally, the Emperor spoke in a cold voice. Send the Invincibles. Let humanity learn what fear truly means. 4 massive warships appeared in Earth's orbit. They were dark, silent, and deadly. Their sides were painted with the mark of the Empire, a golden claw crushing a planet. The world watched in silence as strange shapes filled the sky. From space, the Invincibles dropped in shining pods. They landed in a mountain valley in northern Earth. The ground shook as the pods slammed into the dirt. Steam and fire hissed as the hatches opened. Out stepped the strongest warriors in the galaxy. They were tall, covered in living armor that moved like a second skin. Their weapons glowed with red light. Each one had fought dozens of wars. Some had fought for centuries. Expected fear. They expected panic. But they were met with silence. At the edge of the valley stood a single human. He wore no armor, only dark clothes with a patch that read E.D. Fair Defense Force. He looked at the Invincibles. Then he smiled. One of the alien warriors stepped forward. You have one chance. Surrender. Bow to the Empire, and we will spare your people. The human didn't move. You brought your best, he said quietly. Now meet ours. He pressed a button on his wrist. Suddenly, the mountains echoed with a deep roar. From the caves and cliffs, humans stepped out. But these weren't normal humans. They were taller, stronger, and silent. Their faces were calm, their eyes sharp like predators. These were Deathworlders, trained on Earth's most dangerous places, frozen. Wastelands, burning deserts, deadly jungles. They were faster, tougher, and smarter than anything the galaxy had seen. One of the Invincibles laughed. You brought animals to fight warriors? But the first clash happened in seconds. A Deathworlder moved like lightning, dodging a plasma blade and breaking the alien's arm in one hit. Another human leapt onto a 10-foot warrior, tearing off his helmet and smashing his head into the ground. The Invincibles screamed and charged, but it was already too late. They were not fighting prey. They were facing apex predators. Above the planet, the Empire's warships watched the battle through cameras. What is happening? One commander asked, eyes wide. These humans, they're not afraid. He never finished the sentence, because down below, the strongest army in the Empire's history was being destroyed, crushed. Earth was only getting started. The Empire's War Council sat in stunned silence. The screen showed smoke rising from Earth's valley. Their proud Invincibles crushed. One commander leaned forward, voice shaking. They killed them all? A younger officer replied. Only one survived. He's requesting extraction. The room went cold. Back on Earth, the last Invincible stumbled through the forest. His armor was cracked, one eye swollen shut. His breathing was weak. He reached a clearing and dropped to his knees. Behind him, footsteps. Slow, heavy. He turned and saw a tall human woman, her eyes calm, her hands behind her back. She wore no armor, only a black coat with a silver insignia. Deathworld Unit 9. She knelt in front of him. Why did you come here? She asked softly. The warrior coughed. To make you kneel. To remind your kind of power. She shook her head slowly. Power doesn't come from fear. Not on Earth. She stood and walked away. A rescue ship from the Empire arrived moments later. As the injured warrior was lifted aboard, he gave a final message to his commander. Never send more. Earth is not a planet. It's a warning. Hours later, deep beneath the Andes Mountains, Earth's Defense Command gathered. Around a wide table sat leaders from every continent. Holograms showed the battle's aftermath. Alien bodies scattered. Across the rocks. No human losses. One general smiled. They tested us and failed. But one woman, the same soldier from the forest, spoke firmly. They'll come again. Bigger, louder. The room quieted. We need to show them this wasn't luck. We need to speak in a language they understand. What language is that? Someone asked Dot. She answered with one word. Fire. Dot in orbit. Earth's Black Fleet prepared for launch. These ships were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Built in secret. Powered by Earth's most advanced tech. Fast. Invisible. Deadly. Dot each ship was named after ancient warriors, and Storms. Dot the largest Eclipse One led the charge. Inside the lead ship, the Deathworld unit stood in rows, silent, focused. Dot they weren't going to defend anymore. They were going to respond. Meanwhile, back on the Empire's capital planet, panic was spreading. The Emperor watched the battle footage again. Rewind. Pause. Zoom. Look at how they moved, he said to his council. Like they were dancing. One advisor whispered, We underestimated them. No, the Emperor growled. We woke them up. An urgent message flashed across the screen. Earth. Fleet detected. Approaching at high velocity. No ID tags, no diplomatic signals. The Emperor leaned forward, put it on screen. In the dark of space, a group of black ships cut through the stars like shadows. No sound, no warnings. Just quiet, deadly motion. The galaxy had never seen Earth strike first, but that was about to change. Asterisk, the Empire's capital planet, was never silent. Cities floated in the skies. Ships flew between massive towers. Crowds filled markets. Soldiers trained in open arenas. It was a place of power, pride, control. Until that day. That day, a shadow appeared in the sky. At first, people thought it was a glitch. A cloud, maybe a moon passing by. But then came the screams. Children pointed up. Adults ran. Soldiers froze. Above the tallest palace, blocking out the sun, hovered a ship as black as night. Eclipse One. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It simply watched. Inside the command bridge of Eclipse One, the human crew moved like a single machine. No panic. No noise. Just purpose. Captain Marek stood tall. He had led Earth forces for 20 years. He had seen things no alien would believe. Beside him stood the Deathworld unit, silent, watching the monitors. Any message from the Empire? Marek asked. None, sir. They're frozen. Then it's time we wake them up. He turned to the comms officer, broadcast one line to the entire planet. The officer nodded and spoke into the system. This is Earth. You sent your best. Now meet ours. The Empire's War Council scrambled. Hundreds of ships lifted off. Shields rose around cities. Thousands of troops were rushed to defend government buildings. But fear had already spread. Invincibles were gone. Earth had come to their sky. And now the humans were just waiting. Back on Eclipse One, the targeting systems were locked. But Marek hadn't ordered the attack. Not yet. Instead, he opened a private line to the Emperor himself. The Emperor's screen lit up. You dare show your face? The Emperor growled. You sent warriors to our world. Marek replied calmly. We sent a message. You dare threaten. We don't threaten, Marek said. We respond. A pause. Then the Emperor asked, "What do you want?" Marek's answer was cold. "Nothing. You earned this." He gave a short nod. From the belly of Eclipse 1, hundreds of small pods dropped into the sky. Silent, black, fast dot, they weren't bombs. They were humans, Deathworlders in orbital jumpsuits, riding fire down into the enemy's heart. They hit the ground like thunder. Before any defenses could lock on, they were already moving, cutting power, jamming signals, knocking out weapons. Every move was planned. Every strike was fast. The Empire's army didn't even see them coming by the time the first alarms rang. Earth's warriors were already inside the palace in the throne room. The Emperor stood with guards all around. A door slammed open. One human stepped inside, and it was her, the same woman from the forest, back on Earth. No armor. Just a coat and calm eyes. The guards aimed their weapons. She raised her hand. "Try it." No one moved. She walked toward the Emperor and stopped at the foot of the throne. "I told your warrior," she said. "Earth is not a planet. It's a warning." The Emperor shook with anger. "You'll regret this." She smiled. "You already do." The throne room had never been touched by war. Its golden walls held the history of the Empire. Great battles, victories, and proud rulers were carved into stone columns. Now, one human stood beneath those carvings. She didn't look like a threat. No sword, no weapon in her hand. Just calm silence. But her presence felt heavier than any army. The Emperor's guards waited for his command. His fingers trembled as he pointed. "Kill her." Nothing happened. The guards looked at each other, uncertain. Sweat ran down their necks. Something was wrong. The human woman tilted her head. Still obeying fear? The guards stepped back. Suddenly, the wall behind her exploded. But it wasn't from the outside. It was another human. Crashing through with a roar, he wore thick armor with Earth's symbol on the chest. He looked around. "Throne still standing? Let me fix that." Before anyone could blink, he pulled a small device from his belt and pressed it. A loud beep echoed through the chamber. Then, silence. The entire palace lost power. Lights flickered and died. Screens shut down. The throne's glow vanished. Only the sun through the shattered wall gave light now. "Your technology is weak," the armored human said. "Your pride is weaker." The Emperor stood up, face red with rage. "You think you've won? This empire has lasted 10,000 years, the woman replied, and it ends in 10 minutes. Across the capital city, Earth's forces had spread like a storm. They didn't attack civilians. They didn't destroy homes. They shut down control centers, took out weapons silently, and disabled the Empire's ability to fight back. Aliens watched from rooftops and windows. Some cried in fear, but others cheered not for the fall of a government, but for hope. For the first time in their lives, the citizens saw something stronger than fear. And it wasn't the Empire. Back in the throne room, the Emperor fell to his knees. He wasn't wounded. He wasn't attacked. He simply broke. "Why?" he asked, voice low. "Why are you doing this?" The woman didn't smile. Her voice was soft but sharp. "Because you came to our world thinking we were weak. Because you tried to make us bow. Because you sent killers and called it peace." She turned away. "We are not conquerors," she added. "But we never forget." She and her team walked out, leaving the Emperor shaking on the floor. Behind them, the throne collapsed, cracked down the middle, broken forever. Hours later, the Earth fleet rose into orbit. Eclipse. One sent one final message before disappearing into hyperspace. "We came with restraint. Try us again, and we won't hold back." In the stars above, Earth's name was now known, but not as a colony, not as a backwater planet. No. Now, Earth had a new title. The death world that fights back. Asterisk, the fall of the Empire's throne was not. A quiet event. It echoed. Across star systems, moons, and deep space colonies, news spread fast. One name was on every screen, every whisper, every report. Earth, not as a mystery anymore, not as a footnote, but as a force no one could ignore. For generations, the galaxy had believed in one truth. The Empire is eternal. Now, that truth was shattered. In the far outer rim, on a dusty mining colony, workers crowded around a cracked holoscreen. An old alien miner, with rough hands and tired eyes, stared at the footage of the throne breaking apart. "They did it," he whispered. "Humans really did it." A child beside him asked, "Are they coming here next?" The old miner looked up at the stars. "I hope so." Far away, in the depths of the galactic trade ring, smugglers and pirates watched the same footage. Some laughed. Some raised glasses. One of them, a tall reptilian with a blaster on his hip, tapped the screen. "They beat the Invincibles. With no fleet, no warning. What does that mean for us?" Another asked. "It means," he growled, "the galaxy has a new apex predator." Meanwhile, on Eclipse One, Captain Marek reviewed hundreds of new transmissions. Some begged for help, some offered alliances, and some warned them, "You've made enemies." But Marek wasn't afraid. He knew what Earth had become. He turned to his officers. "The stars are watching. Let's remind them who we are." Back on Earth, things were changing fast. A new command center was built in orbit named Sentinel Station. From there, Earth's diplomats and warriors could speak directly to the galaxy. But instead of threats, they offered one message. "We don't want to rule. We want to live free. And we'll fight for that right every time." Some alien leaders accepted this. Others did not. On a distant council world, a group of powerful species gathered. Leaders who had once feared only the Empire now feared something else. Green-skinned ambassador slammed her hand on the table. If Earth can destroy a throne in a day, what stops them from taking the rest? Another leader leaned forward. They didn't take the throne. They left it in pieces. And then they left. A cold silence followed, which makes them more dangerous. Back on Sentinel Station, the woman who broke the Empire's throne stood, alone by a viewport. She watched the stars slowly move beyond the glass. One of the officers joined her. "You were right," he said. "They listened." She didn't smile. "They're not listening," she said quietly. "They're choosing sides." He asked, "Whose side are we on?" Her eyes narrowed. "We're not on anyone's side. We're the reason there has to be sides." As fleets moved in the dark and alliances formed in shadows, one truth was clear. Galaxy had changed, and Earth once forgotten, once mocked, was now a name spoken with fear. Or with hope. Asterisk, the stars had changed, not just in name, but in feeling. Every patrol, every ship, every leader now moved differently, carefully, like they were being watched. Because they were. Earth didn't rule the galaxy, but Earth had said it. On Fire Dot in the cold reaches of Sector 9, a powerful alien species called the Dravak had stayed silent during Earth's rise. They believed humans were loud, fast-burning. Temporary. So they planned in secret, hired assassins, studied Earth's movements, looked for weakness. Then they sent their greatest hunter, Kuril, known across galaxies for ending wars with a single bullet. His task was simple: find the human woman who shattered the Empire's throne and erase her. Kuril's ship was quiet as death. It slipped past defense satellites, dodged patrol drones, and landed near a black mountain on a frozen planet. There, deep inside a silent base, the woman waited, but she wasn't hiding. She was training. Every morning, before reports or orders, she stood in the snow, alone, breathing slow, focused. She Knew someone would come. Humans always knew. Kiral watched from above with heat sensors. Target acquired. He whispered. He loaded his rifle. Every piece was handmade, silent, invisible to scanners. He aimed from over a mile away. Breathed once, held still, fired, but the shot never hit. A sharp whir of metal sliced the air, and the bullet melted. Mid-flight. KUR, single quotes as eyes widened. What? Then? Came a voice behind him. You traveled far, she said, calm as the snow. Kiral turned. Fast, but the woman already had her blade out a thin, curved line of glowing steel. You're not the first hunter, she said. And you won't be the last, Kiral snarled. You think Earth is untouchable? She stepped closer. No, I think you don't understand what we are. They fought in silence, no shouting, no chaos, just two killers in the snow, one ancient. One human, but only one walked away. The next day, the Drevik received a package. Inside, Kiral's rifle, melted and a message. Stop hiding in the shadows, or Earth will bring the sun. News of the failed assassination spread faster than light. No one had ever escaped Kiral. No one had ever defeated him, until now. Alien warlords who once planned in secret stopped. Fleets that had been preparing to test Earth paused, because they realized something simple and terrifying. Humanity didn't just win wars. It hunted the ones who started them. At Sentinel Station, Captain Marek reviewed another wave of messages, some filled with fear, others with offers for peace. He turned to the woman, now back from the snowy mountain. We don't need to fight every battle, he said. She replied quietly, no, but we need to end the ones that matter. He nodded. Then we'll end this story our way. There was once a time when the galaxy thought Earth was weak. Now, no one made that mistake, but the truth ran deeper than fear. It wasn't just Earth's ships or Deathworld soldiers that shook the stars. It was something older. Something buried in every human heartbeat. Survival. Inside Sentinel Station's war room. All lights dimmed as a new signal came in. An emergency broadcast. A planet near the edge of known space once, controlled by the Empire, was under attack. Not by Earth, not by rebels. But by something ancient, rising from a deep space rift. Unknown origin. No language. No symbol. Just destruction. Cities burned. Moons were cracked open. The Council of Worlds sent fleets. None returned. Captain Marek looked at the data with a heavy breath. It's not about power anymore, he said. The woman beside him nodded. This isn't a test of strength. It's a test of who's willing to stand, he asked. And who will? She answered without pause. Us. Earth's fleet didn't wait for orders. They moved. From Titan's dark shipyards to Luna's watchposts, vessels once built to defend Earth now carried the banner of responsibility. They didn't come to conquer. They came to stand where others ran. The Deathworlders led the charge, not because they were fearless, but because they knew what it meant to face the impossible, can still take the first step forward. On the burning world, when Earth's ships arrived, hope returned. Aliens who had never trusted humans now cried in relief as black Terran dropships cut through the sky. Children pointed upward and shouted, "The humans came." And come they did, not with speeches, not with demands, but with action. Pay. Deathworld unit formed a wall around a shelter full of alien civilians as molten beasts stormed the city. They didn't back away. They didn't ask for help. They simply stood and fought. One by one, other species joined them, claws, scales, feathers, and skin beside the humans. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy fought together, not under fear, but under something new, respect, when the final enemy creature fell. The planet stood in smoke and silence, and in that silence, something changed. They didn't call Earth invaders anymore. They called them guardians. Back at Sentinel Station, the Galactic Council sent a private message to Earth. What do you want? Now, after all this, the reply came quickly. We don't want your thrones. We don't need your praise. We want only one thing, that you never forget who answered when you were left alone. And so, Earth's legacy was sealed not through peace, treaties, not through fear, but through action and through a smile that came not from arrogance, but from knowing exactly what humans are capable of. They sent their strongest. Earth sent its truth, and the stars would never be the same. Asterisk.